What's up guys, and welcome back to another rugby video. I was inspired by a comment that was created yesterday from one of my subscribers to ask me to say who are my top 15 rugby players of this year's Rugby Championship in Bledisloe. So I thought I would do that in today's video. Obviously for some phenomenal rugby players that are within every single country: New Zealand, Australia, Argentina and South Africa. Great players, but it was actually tougher than I thought. I thought this could be quite easy, but again, I've selected this compared to what I think, so not everyone will probably agree with some of those players, but obviously certain players will have the same agreement. But what I encourage you guys to do is comment down below your top 15 players that you thought stood out in this tournament. Obviously whatever country, you can have bias, but from your opinion, who do you think was your top 15 players? And let me know so we can see what comes about from this team. Right, here we go. My top 15. The first player at number 1 is Tendai Mtawarira, the Beast. I think he's played well. For me, he's played his best rugby he's played in a long time. He's been a bit off here and there, but to me this year he's proved a point. He played good for the Sharks and he gave in a solid effort for the Springboks, and for me he's my number 1. Number 2, Melcom, Marx, another Springbok, but for me he was the outstanding player for South Africa as a hooker. He definitely shone against New Zealand in the second game in South Africa. He's a good player, young player, growing into something great. For number 3, I've gone with Nepo, Laulala. Forgive me if I've said it wrong. I think he's a good little prop for New Zealand, done very well, and he is my number 3. Number 4, Eben, Etzebeth. I know I gave him a few critiques at the start of the Rugby Championship, just worried about his captaincy and leadership, and was worried it was affecting his game, but at the end the man showed what he's worth, how he plays, and he played very well again, especially against the All Blacks. He outshone, played well, and gave it his all against Australia and Argentina. Number 5, Brodie, Retallick. I probably got the wrong way around, but to me he was outstanding, definite threat. When he wasn't playing when he wasn't playing, you could see the difference within New Zealand, from my opinion, and as soon as he came back to play the big games for like Australia and South Africa, you could see his impact. Great player, and definitely when he's not playing, New Zealand definitely do miss him. Number 6, Sia Kolisi. He's had an outstanding Rugby Championship for me. He definitely stood out, play with such heart and soul. Some people don't rate him, but I rate him quite highly. I think he's a good player, plays well for the Stormers, played well for the Springboks. Again, I would have maybe had him as my captain, but what will be. But to me, number 6 is Sia Kolisi. Number 7, I've gone with Michael Hooper, the Australian captain. I think he's an outstanding little player. I do tend to think he has a bit of a moaning, chirping part, similar to old Georgie Gregan, but great player, steals the ball, he's always there, gives it his all, and a hard worker. He really is a hard worker. Again, Australia had their ups and downs, but to me he stood out and shone for Australia. Number 8, Kieran Reid. Outstanding captain. I know he might have had a weaker game in the Bledisloe 3, but to me, outstanding player, outstanding captain. He goes in there no matter what. He goes and runs, he smashes, he scores tries, he does it all. Great player for me, and he will definitely be in my top 15. Number 9, I've gone with Ross Grenier. It was hard for me because I highly rate Perenara and Smith. But for me, from an impact on South African rugby, you could see the difference when he was there and wasn't there. Ross Grenier played some great rugby, makes errors here and there, but we're all human. But from an upcoming player, I think he played well, and for me he deserves a spot in my top 15. Number 10, Barrett. can't complain with that guy. Had a bit of a weak kick at the start of the tournament, but he's just an overall great player, I think. He's always there, kicking, tactical kicking, is clever. He's just there. He's like, he can play any position. Highly rate him. Played well for the Canes and playing well for his country. He's definitely a force to be reckoned with. I don't know about the other New Zealand subscribers on my channel, but to me he's got a little bit of Andrew Merton in him. Maybe a bit better, but whenever I see Barrett, I think of Andrew Merton, and we all know what a great fly-off that man was. Number 11, I've gone with Ryoko Loane. Forgive me again. I think he's played well. Good All Black winger. So I've definitely gone with him. I think he's played well. Number 12, Kurtley Beale. That man is outstanding. He gives it his all. He can do pretty much anything. Fullback, centre, wing, fly off. He can do it all, and I think he's had a phenomenal season for Australia. Lot would probably critique his age, but for me, who cares? If you're playing great rugby, fine. And well done to him. He's definitely my number 12. 13, I've gone with Ryan Crotty. It was between him and Sonny Bill Williams. Ryan Crotty is a great player. He's doing well. For New Zealand, he's proved his point. He's played well for the Satyrs, and he's playing even better for New Zealand rugby. So for me, great player, definite deserver of number 13. Then I've gone with number 14, Nene Milner-Skudder. I think he's played well, scored a good few tries this season. Another great little player. New Zealand really have, well, blessed with phenomenal rugby players. I know Australia and South Africa are as well, but for me, he's a good player. And then number 15, I think I'll get a lot of talk and question about this one, but I'm going with Israel Folau. He is the top try scorer this season, but he's also gives it his all. Damien McKenzie, I first put in him, and then I put in Folau, and then I went back to Folau. Both play great rugby. McKenzie's young. He's going to be an all-time great. That's a fact. The way he finds gaps, goes for tries. McKenzie definite would be on my bench, no doubt. But I've gone with Folau. He's just always there. He's a hard player. He runs through them. He gets the gaps too. So for me, I've gone with the Wallabies, Israel Folau. Overall, if we had to create a Southern Hemisphere team just like the Lions, man alive, would we give them a run for their money. Half of that team, there are way more players out there that can also be included in this team, and that's the beauty of Southern Hemisphere rugby. And this is why I'm so excited for the end of year tour, is to watch how these players do against the Northern Hemisphere teams. I mean, if we have to quickly get a summary, South Africa's got Ireland. That is going to be the match for me, for South Africa's point of view. We've got New Zealand, maybe got France and Wales. You know, it's going to be tough. But to me, they don't have a hard one. Australia have the toughest. They've got England. I know the Argentines also have Ireland. So to me, it's going to be an incredible end of year tour. But that I will leave to my predictions video and my build up to that. Guys, excuse the wind. Fortunately, South Africa has 4 seasons in one day. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I thought I'd do something different and chat about those players. Again, let me know who you think are your top 15 rugby players. We're all entitled to our opinions. You might agree with some, you might disagree with some, but let me know what you think, or who you think deserves to be in the top 15 of the Rugby Championship. And yeah, let's see how close or similar we all are. As usual, guys, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed it, thumbs it up. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, especially if you're new here. My name's Gareth Mason, walking towards you, man. It's this channel, and I do motivational videos and sporting videos, so make sure you are subscribed. Guys, this was a suggestion from a subscriber. If you have any other suggestions for future videos, please let me know in the comments down below, and I will try and make a video surrounding your question, just like I did today. As usual, stay safe, never give up. Cheers.